Why is it so hard for the masculine to acknowledge the feminine's feelings when in the masculine's logical mind, their feelings are seemingly so irrational? And why would the masculine acknowledge irrational feelings when there is seemingly nothing to be afraid of in the moment? That's what we're going to be talking about on today's video. Hello, welcome. My name is Dom, and I help people to step into their truth and power. So why is it so hard for the masculine to acknowledge the feminine's feelings when in the masculine's logical mind, their feelings are seemingly irrational? And why would the masculine acknowledge irrational feelings when there is seemingly nothing to be afraid of in this moment? Well, because the masculine isn't feeling this personally. So how do they learn how to connect on that level so that the feminine feels safe in that moment, even if it is irrational? Well, there are three things that both the masculine and feminine can do here. The first thing is to be aware. To be aware. For the masculine, this means to be aware of what's really happening. So when they experience this, it's important for the masculine to meet the feminine where they are at. This means actively listening and understanding how she's feeling without trying to make sense of it. It's really about connecting and understanding and simply just being present for the other person without interjecting thoughts or opinions about the experience that they're having. When this occurs and the feminine is able to express themselves and feel safe in doing it, they will feel heard and understood and safe. And at that point, all of that swirling energy that they're in will begin to calm down. Too often, the masculine interjects opinions and judgments about how the feminine is feeling, or they have good intention to help them by trying to troubleshoot the problems for the feminine, when that's not what they're needing in that moment. In that moment, they're needing safety and simply being heard and understood and to be acknowledged for how they are feeling. Once the feminine is acknowledged and feels safe, all of that swirling energy begins to dissipate and the conversation can then move more into curiosity about how to proceed forward, whether that occurs at that moment or at a different time. But in that moment, the feminine needs the masculine to embrace where she's at emotionally, even if it seems irrational and doesn't make sense to the masculine. So how does the masculine do that when he's feeling like the madness of the emotion that is not really real to them? Well, that leads me to the second thing, which is practice. Both the masculine and the feminine need to practice how they relate with each other. For the masculine, practice is understanding that it doesn't have to make sense all of the time. I mean, what does it really hurt or take from you just to be more considerate and compassionate in that moment for how the feminine is feeling? Even if it doesn't line up logically for you or if it seems irrational for you right now. Yes, we can use this as an opportunity to learn more about each other, but in that moment is not the time. We can talk about the logic of it later, but only after the feminine feels acknowledged for how they feel and they feel heard, understood, and safe. Because at that point, when the feminine is calm, it'll be much easier for them to be able to articulate what they're feeling more clearly. In the moment of the feminine's emotions, when they're running all over the place, it's very hard for them to articulate and get it out. We have to allow some space for the emotion to discharge without trying to apply logic into the process. Because here's the thing, there is going to be no logic to it. Ever. There never will be. Emotions are rooted in feelings, and feelings in the moment aren't always logical, but often illogical. So the masculine has to understand this and resist entering into the relationship with logic when the emotion is swirling and running all over the place. This takes practice for the masculine. It takes practice over and over again. And they'll know when they failed in practicing it because it will usually result in an argument or fight. At which point, the masculine can always just apologize for not being present or in the moment with them and try again. Now, what about when the masculine is all in their head and the feminine can't connect with them. The masculine has a very hard time connecting at an emotional level when they're all caught up in their head and in their mind. For the feminine, practicing would involve not getting emotional and taking the disconnection personally, but understanding just as they need help in working through their emotions to feel safe, the masculine needs understanding and help working through their thoughts when their thoughts are swirling out of control. And they need to feel safe around that aspect of themselves, their thoughts. The feminine can help break the masculine's mind swirl in the same way by becoming present with them, without getting all emotional about what is being shared in that moment. Being present without judgment, opinion, or emotion is key here. It's the same process for both masculine and feminines, but they jack it all up. We both jack it all up when their egos step in and try and save or fix the other person, instead of just being with the other person and allowing them to be vulnerable in their emotions or in their thoughts without any judgments or opinions. The last thing is to connect first and communicate second. We jack this up when we try to communicate first and connect after. So connection first and communication second. And so I'm curious, what was shared in this video that really resonated with you today? Share in the comments below. What was shared in this video that really resonated with you the most today? Share in the comments below because I want to be able to support you, and it gives me an idea of where you are at about this topic. Further, I'm going to be sharing more videos on this subject in the coming days, so hit the subscribe and the bell so you don't miss any of them. And if you would like to pay it forward, please take a moment and just share this video with your friends and family. Our world is experiencing so much division because there is a lack of connection and understanding. So it's my intention to have this information shared with as many people as I possibly can get it out to right now. So I truly believe it's what is needed to help bring more healing and understanding to the world and to the relationships between people. And so by sharing this information, you'll be helping to get the information out. And so until I connect with you again for my next video, stay well, stay healthy, and stay empowered.